The Prime Minister is today announcing what he's calling a global crackdown on illegal immigration, pledging to stop the smuggling gangs once and for all. Writing in today's Daily Mail, he says, "Believe me, I get it. You are right to be angry about illegal immigration." And he adds that we all pay the price for insecure borders, from the cost of accommodation to the strain on our services. Dilys, I'm going to come to you first on this. It's refreshing, is it, to hear the leader of our country actually saying we are listening to people's concerns?
Well, it's refreshing and encouraging to hear the leader of our country saying anything that people might agree with, to be honest, at the moment. I think that the word immigration has become lost in illegal immigration and legal immigration, to the point, especially you're on a show like this, you have to self-edit furiously, you know, all the time. And by discussing illegal immigration, people are very quick to make out that you are some right-wing fascist just by discussing the fact that we are a small country and we cannot let everybody in for any single reason. The very fact that people are here illegally means that they haven't gone through the proper system. And I'm talking about situations like in a town near to where I live, there are 300 illegal immigrants, undocumented single men, housed in a hotel where my friends who live there, of all nationalities, are frightened to go out at night. And these people are around schools in the morning taking photographs of school because we don't know who these people are. That is why they're undocumented, they're illegal. And what we have been doing is giving them a phone and making it OK for them to be here illegally. There's not one of us who does not have the utmost compassion for legal immigrants who keep this country going. For God's sake, this country wouldn't survive. The NHS would fall to bits if it wasn't for the wonderful legal immigrants we have in this country, and how anybody suffering from persecution should be welcomed immediately. But they have to do it through the legal channels. And it appears that since this government has been in power, and the previous government, they've all talked about it and nothing has been done. And I think it's encouraging to hear Keir Starmer saying we cannot have open borders and pay for everybody to come here regardless. We are also allowing, and I contentiously say, for undocumented people from many cultures who hate and despise women to be here, right? That is what is happening in many cases because we don't know who they are. We know that there are cultures who do not see and treat women with the respect that we are supposed to. Many white people who are born here feel that as well. But we really, really need to look at who is allowed to live here. And I say that with the greatest of respect and utmost humanity.
I mean, playing devil's advocate, and obviously also for balance, because a lot of people would say, well, you know, you can't sort of demonise everybody, you know, just because they come here illegally doesn't mean to say that they're here committing crimes or whatever.
Of course it doesn't.
But I think, you know, Keir Starmer has also said 24,000 migrants have been removed from the UK since Labour took office. But there's another figure in 2024 alone, over 36,000 people arrived in the UK on small boats, which is a 25% increase to the year before. And if you look at it, Sue, even in terms of infrastructure in this country, you know, the strain on our services of all of these extra people is an issue as well, isn't it? Even setting aside any criminality aspects.
It is. I think, I mean, the biggest difficulty, really, in formulating the policies is finding them that will address the illegal immigration whilst also balancing our humanitarian responsibility and public sentiment. And I think that, you know, I've witnessed, I was at Dungeness, and I've witnessed those boats coming in and the desperation of some of those women and their children, and it is appalling to see, But
a lot of them are without women and children.
But a lot of them are without. You know, there was a lot that, you know, it was a lot of, you know, from Albanian men.
And Albania's not at war.
No.
Albania Tourist Board are encouraging us to go there.
So it's a minefield, isn't it? And I don't know the right way forward with it. But we are an island. We have limited resources.
We also have 4.6 million children living in abject poverty in this country, of our own children, and we need to address that.
It does seem common sense to me, a lot of what Keir Starmer is saying. And as you say, it's like, why did previous governments not do this? What they're focusing on, Brenda, is the people smugglers, which is a criminal act. They are exploiting the desperation of people who will get into very shabby boats and make a very treacherous, or often very treacherous, crossing to come here, and these people are making money out of them. So that is the sort of maybe a good way to go into it.
Yeah, I mean, when we're talking about the smuggling side of things, we've seen so much the trauma and everything and the children that have not made it, and that is a very sad situation. With the illegal immigrant side of things, I'm kind of one of those people who has a bit nervous to speak out, because I have spoken out about it before, illegal immigration, and I've had backlash. I've had backlash from people saying, "Well, you're an immigrant yourself, and you should be forgiving. Where's your Christian spirit and everything?"
You were born here.
Well, yes,
you're British.
Yes, I was, but that doesn't stop you when you look like me and you want to have a comment on
but
people, right? Okay,
so but
disregard them, Brenda.
Well, yeah, I mean, obviously, I am. My family did migrate over here from St Vincent, and we've done, all of my family, I know for a fact, have done everything they can, from fighting in the Army and the Royal Air Force for this country.
Of course.
And so I do believe that I do have the right to be here, as I'm doing it legally, and I don't necessarily agree with the
100%.
illegal. Come in, everybody's here to help and build up our country, and I've got nothing against that. But just do it the right way.
tackling the smuggling gangs will help the people that are getting into these boats and quite often spending their life savings on a promise that the gangs don't deliver.